Hello all, I'm Richard, and in this video I'd like to talk about the news about Clayface. So yesterday we got casting news that Tom Rhys-Harris will be playing the titular character of Clayface. Unfortunately, he's not an actor that I'm familiar with, so I unfortunately can't say if he's good casting or not, but I can say I'm excited to see what DC does with this movie and this character. Although that being said, the question is yet to be asked. Which Clayface will we be getting? Clayface is a Batman villain who made his first appearance back in the summer of 1940 in Detective Comics issue 40. And over the span of his existence has had multiple incarnations, the most common of which are Basil Carlo and Matt Hagen. Basil Carlo being the first Clayface who appeared in the pre-mentioned issue of Detective Comics issue 40. Was an actor who, after finding out the film studios were going to reboot one of his old horror films, he decided to don the costume of his old character Clayface and murder everyone involved in the reboot. Which, I know reboots aren't the most popular thing, but, like, murdering everyone might be a bit much. The second Clayface is a character called Matt Hagen, who made his debut in Detective Comics 298 in the winter of 1961. Matt Hagen was initially an Indiana Jones-style treasure hunter who, infected by a pool of radioactive protoplasm, he became the shape-shifting Clayface, giving us the general character design most fans are familiar with today. However, in the 1992 Batman the Animated Series, fans were eventually introduced to a version of the character who was somewhat a version of both Basil Carlo and Matt Hagen, combining Matt Hagen's name and abilities with an alternate version of Basil Carlo's backstory as an actor. In this version of the character, Matt Hagen was a well-known movie actor, badly disfigured in a car crash. To solve his disfigurement, Matt Hagen turns to a clay-based beauty product offered to him by a shady businessman called Ronald Dagan. This product allows him to reshape his face to look however he pleases. However, things take a turn for the worst, and Matt Hagen ends up becoming the monstrous Clayface. Mike Flanagan, the initial writer for this movie, has also stated that the Batman the Animated Series version of Clayface was a heavily influence on his script. That, mixed with the version of the character that we got in Creature Commandos voiced by Alan Tudyk, who had initially been talked about as possibly reprising his role as the voice of Clayface going forward, all suggests that this version of the character we could possibly be getting in the film. Either way, as I mentioned before, I'm excited to see what DC do with this character. I like the implications that it has on the Batman mythos of this DC universe going forward. James Gunn has recently stated that he doesn't want a campy Batman, which is fair enough. I don't think modern day Batman should be campy. However, I'm probably one of the fans who thinks that Batman should definitely be fantastical. Even though Batman is a grounded character, he is a grounded character in a world where you have characters like Superman and the Flash and Wonder Woman, a world full of superpowered characters. Uh, and so there is a fantastical element, which Clayface very much seems to be kind of leaning into a less grounded version of the character that we may have gotten in previous iterations of the characters, such as the Dark Knight trilogy or the Matt Reeves Batman films. So excited to see what way DC decides to go about it. Um, what are your thoughts on what we might see in the new Clayface film? What are your thoughts on the casting? Be sure to let me know, and thanks for watching.